Welcome to Real Wine. This is going to be a special episode because I recently had the opportunity to visit Ponchartrain Vineyards in Covington, Louisiana, where I had the pleasure of meeting and interviewing the owner and winemaker, John Seago. I can't thank him enough for allowing us to visit, as well as taking the time out of his busy day to let us interview him. Because of all the amazing footage we got and the fantastic wines we tried, we're going to be splitting it up over multiple episodes. Also, because of that, we're not going to be featuring a wine under 9, but believe me, it's worth it. So let's get started with part 1 of our Louisiana specials. So here we are at Ponchartrain Vineyards in Louisiana with the winemaker and founder of Ponchartrain Vineyards, John Seago. This is our first location, the first time we get to be at a winery, and we're all the way in Louisiana, which is super exciting. So let's jump right in. How and why did you get into winemaking to begin with?
In my early 30s, I was in the JAG Corps of the United States Army, who, with their good insight, had sent me to Europe, to Germany. And there I discovered one very important thing in my life. Wine is food. And if you're from South Louisiana, from New Orleans, food is a very important part of our life. It's the cultural genius spot of the true South Louisianian. It so happens that I was born and raised in New Orleans. But I made the discovery in Germany, after getting over the beer shock. One of the women that worked in my office there, she was a translator, said, "Would you like to participate in the German wine harvest?"
Oh, wow.
And I said, "Jawohl." But this is my first experience getting down to what goes on in a vineyard. And there was just this magic, and you could just feel the excitement of getting the fruit off of it.
So you come back to Louisiana and you want to make wine that goes with the food in the way that you experienced overseas?
Yeah, the question was, where is the wine?
Right.
Obviously, if you could grow wine,
They would have been doing
they would
it.
have.
Right.
And so what have they done in that area? And you ask somebody who's racially intelligent and so forth. Oh, well, I think people make Muscadine wine. What's Muscadine? I don't even see any Muscadine. This is Muscadine right here.
Oh, I like Muscadine.
Native. Find out now, the botanist, it's so different from grape that it's not even in the same genus. So I said, we're going to do this. I got to find out, why haven't we done this before? That's a complicated history here, but I won't go too much into it. But certainly under the French, when they first brought the people here and they set up, coming up the lower Mississippi Valley, they had all the wine they could care to drink. It all came from France. And, weren't interested in taking on the local challenge, which would eventually show that they couldn't grow the old world vinifera species of grape because of Pierce's disease.
Right.
You're familiar with that. But I'm trying to get to the basic answer. Where is the wine?
Well, that day, the wine was inside at the Ponchartrain Vineyards tasting room.
We're having a little fun with the names here. Americans tend to call wines by the name of the grape involved. So I'll have a glass of Chardonnay. Okay, a glass of Chardonnay coming up. Well, I make wine for a living. I learned a long time ago. The component of the variety of grape involved is certainly significant, but by no stretch of the imagination is it the only impulse or ingredient or fact of life that you're dealing with when you're making and crafting a wine. Styles and the way styles are created are equally important. This is the variety of grape, Blanc du Bois, and we actually put it on the bottle. How about that? We make several different wines from this variety of grape. This is our workhorse and major wine grape for this area because it not only is resistance to one of the most challenging diseases that limits what we can grow here, but also because it's capable of producing a very high quality white wine.
Okay, so I've already tried these wines once in Louisiana, but we're gonna try them again here for a couple reasons. One, because I really like the wine and I wanna try them again. Two, the sound quality wasn't so great when we were there, so I just wanna get my part of the tasting and smelling again here. So let's get started with our first one, which is going to be the 2008 Trolley, and it's a Blanc du Bois, which we're talking about there. It's not a normal grape.
We're fermenting the wine in stainless steel at relatively cool temperatures with the idea that we want the wine to go as far as the yeast will take it in terms of dryness, that being a term that really reflects how much unfermented grape sugars are left in the wine.
It smells like a flower. It's definitely like a rose. I mean, you know what a rose smells like, but it smells really nice and fruity and light and just comforting in a way.
I would agree with you with respect to the floral aspect. It's inviting and kind of seductive in that way. But also right in the mix here are some, I would say, citrus type aromas of a grapefruit.
It is, but it's sweeter. It's way less sweet than it smells. It's definitely got more. Well, I've never eaten a flower, but I wonder if it doesn't taste more floral as well. You know, it has a lot of mineral and rose, like flower, in the back of your throat. In the front of your mouth, it's light, it's lighter, and then in the back you get more of this. I wish I could think of a better term to explain it than it tastes like a flower, because I realize that that's totally ridiculous, and I've never tasted a flower, like I mentioned.
I sense, and I kind of like, there's a little mineral edge to this wine, rather than stuff that tastes like, you know, fruit or a real sweet sensation. There's this minerality edge to it, which is kind of surprising, and particularly with but it's a sort of sophisticated touch feel.
This one, they recommend to serve it moderately chilled, so you don't want it to be straight out of the refrigerator, because if it is straight out of the refrigerator, it's going to be too cold and it's going to lose some of its complexities. You know, you want it to warm up a little bit. So as it warms up, it's going to get even more intricate and have all kinds of flavors.
Now I'm tasting a wine we call Roux Saint Louis, and it's also produced from the Blanc du Bois grape grown here on this estate. The same vintage as the same one, the Trolley wine that we tasted. And here's a good demonstration of how, to emphasize the point that wines can be very different, even though not only they're produced from the same variety of grape, but coming from the same vintage and some of the same vineyards. Now, what else is different?
Yeah.
What is different here is how the winemaker, the winemaking team, production facility has shaped the wine through choices made in the winemaking. This wine starts off the same way in terms of crushing and pressing, getting the wine to juice. Then we diverge on the path here. This is going to also be fermented in stainless steel at about as cool a temperature as I would dare to ferment it.
Oh, it's amazing that from the same grape, you can have two completely different smells and flavors. It's insane to me. Like, credit to the winemaker for being able to make something totally different.
If I were just walking in here blind and so forth, I wouldn't imagine that these were even the same grapes and whatever. And the differences are quite subtle in. Well,
it's smell-wise, it has more like pear almost.
Absolutely.
In it than that. Like, there is still floral, but it's not. There's more of the like orange. Or pear, it's really like more like a pear that's not overly ripe. You have that, do you know what that is? When I smell this wine, it reminds me of a hot summer day and having a glass of wine by the pool. It just like, you get that visual mental image with this. It has that almost like a sour candy when you kind of pucker a little bit, you know what I mean? Like a green apple.
The thing about vitis aestivalis, it has an unusually high level of malic acid. Malic acid is the acid of the Granny Smith apple. That real crunch.
Totally in the taste. It seems thinner in texture than the other one?
Well, you would normally have a higher alcohol level with the wine that goes dry, because when you keep fermenting, it keeps producing alcohol. By stop fermentation, which we've done here, that means you're trading off a higher alcohol level for a higher residual sugar level.
This is going to go perfectly with spicy Cajun food because it's really crisp and dry, and it cuts through that really spicy flavor, and also the alcohol content isn't too high, because if the alcohol content is really, really high, that clashes with spicy foods. It makes spicy food spicier, so it's not a complementary experience. So when you have a lower alcohol content wine, it goes much better with the spicy food, and you'll actually get some refreshment from having the wine with the spicy food.
Besides being a very friendly aperitif wine, it's just It's very comfortable with highly seasoned fare, like down on the bayou.
Fiery Mexican or Asian dishes.
That's right.
Spot on. That's really great. Thanks for watching part 1 of the Louisiana special, and thank you so much to John Seago, BB Williams, and everyone at Ponchartrain Vineyards for your incredible generosity. I hope you guys had as much fun watching this as we did filming it. It was truly an amazing time. And as always, let me know what you thought of the episode, subscribe to my channel, leave me a comment, and if you make a wine that you'd like us to feature, go ahead and send me a message. Ci vediamo un'altra volta. Drink up.